Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. The weather in Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country. Earlier today, I did a video about Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and the Mashujaa Day celebrations which took place yesterday at Uhuru Gardens. That event was presided over by William Samoei Arap Ruto. But one thing was very clear, that the Azimio brigades boycotted that event. Uhuru Kenyatta was nowhere, Raila Odinga was nowhere, Martha Karua was nowhere. The parliamentary leadership were nowhere. But Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka was present. And I gave my reasons why I thought he was present. But a gentleman on this platform raised with me some important subject or something he noted. And he challenged me that the video ought to have been why Kalonzo Musyoka was ignored by William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua during that particular event. And indeed, for those who watched my previous video, I explained that it was clear that Kalonzo Musyoka was not invited to that event. And I explained the body language. I explained that nobody actually recognized Kalonzo Musyoka during that event. Ruto never recognized him, Rigathi Gachagua never recognized him. I also explained using the seating arrangement. Kalonzo Musyoka was placed very far away from William Ruto. In fact, what shocked me was that Kalonzo Musyoka, there was Boni Aluale, there was another lady, member of parliament. You would find Johnson Mudhama, others. Then Kalonzo, very far away. An explanation was given that probably the organizers did not anticipate or did not envisage Azimio la Umoja presence. But clearly, even if that were the case, Kalonzo Musyoka was present, William Ruto saw him, Rigathi Gachagua saw him. Why could they recognize him? Why do you think they ignored him? In this video, I want to give you 4 reasons why William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua failed to recognize or ignored Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please, I want you to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us get back to the main issue. Why do you think Kalonzo Musyoka was ignored? I want to read your opinion on that before we proceed. Why do you think he was ignored? Just drop your comment why you think Kalonzo Musyoka was ignored, or maybe if you believe that Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua never ignored him. For me, I tend to think that Kalonzo Musyoka was ignored because, number one, his failure to join Kenya Kwanza. You know, as we speak right now, William Ruto is still suffering from legitimacy questions. There are those who believe that he rigged the election, but despite rigging, the gap between him and Raila was around 200,000. And they argue that if Kalonzo Musyoka had joined Ruto camp, that issue of legitimacy would not have been there, because Ruto would have swept the entire Ukambani. The truth of the matter is that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka delivered to Raila Odinga the Kamba voting block. He delivered to Raila Odinga the Azimio members of parliament, governors, senators from Ukambani. If he were to join Kenya Kwanza, what would be the implication? The truth is, it would have been easy to have legitimacy, something which, as much as election is normally about winning 50% plus one vote, the truth of the matter, which we can't run away from, is that over 8 million Kenyans never turned up to vote. If you add it to those who voted for Raila Odinga, the total normally comes to around, I think, 15 million people versus the 7 million who voted for Ruto. That's how you should look at the legitimacy. So William Ruto and his camp are still very bitter because they persuaded Mudavadi, they persuaded Weta, they persuaded Amason Kingi and others, and then all these people are now empowered. Weta is a prime cabinet secretary, is the speaker of the National Assembly. Kingi is the speaker of the Senate. Mudavadi is going to be the prime cabinet secretary. Initially, William Ruto camp had wanted Kalonzo Musyoka to be the speaker of the National Assembly. Then Weta was going to go to the Senate. Then Amason Kingi was going to resort himself somewhere. So the failure by Kalonzo to join Kenya Kwanza is the reason these guys ignored him. Number two, I also tend to think that William Ruto is keen on 2027 election. Kalonzo Musyoka is being viewed in Kenya Kwanza as one of the threats to William Samoei Arap Ruto. There's a strong feeling that in case a slight mistake will occur, then Raila Odinga might pair with Kalonzo Musyoka, where Kalonzo Musyoka would be the presidential candidate, then Raila Odinga becomes the running mate. Or they give someone to be Kalonzo Musyoka's running mate. And in case Jubilee government will fail, then Kalonzo Musyoka is going to be the biggest beneficiary. So they don't want to give Kalonzo Musyoka any chance around Ruto, because he will operate with that, and therefore they won't scheme. Their intention right now is to ensure that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is destroyed politically, completely unfinished. And I want you to take this to the bank. Moving forward, William Ruto will try so hard to unite the Ukambani members of parliament and leaders. Because, for example, there is Johnson Muthama, who is the UDA chairperson. Then there's Alfred Mutua. They don't see eye to eye. So Ruto will embark on a journey of uniting them. The idea is to isolate Kalonzo. He will identify certain members of parliament. He will also try to identify certain governors and even senators to work with, and therefore try to isolate Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. So they don't want anything right now to do with Kalonzo. Number three, I also tend to think that William Ruto understands that in Ukambani, as much as Kalonzo Musyoka carried the day, he also didn't perform badly. He performed well. And therefore, he would want a situation where his team is kept intact and facilitated to continue working hard rather than bringing Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. If you bring Kalonzo Musyoka in Kenya Kwanza, expect the cabinet secretary for the nominee for cabinet secretary for foreign affairs, Alfred Mutua, to exit or not to embrace him. Expect Johnson Muthama to leave. So Ruto would not want a situation where already he has Ukambani, and if the mistakes he made, he already knows those mistakes, then he brings Kalonzo, then Kalonzo will disrupt the equation for him. So personally, if you ask me, William Ruto is William Ruto. He understands the Ukambani politics now. He knows where they performed badly. So he's keen on ensuring that those support are consolidated. Bringing Kalonzo Musyoka close to him would disrupt the equation. Like if Kalonzo was given a special seat, rest assured, Alfred Mutua would be making noise somewhere. Johnson Muthama would be making noise somewhere. But the fact that he was seated very far away from these people means that these people are even now bragging in Ukambani that Kalonzo ako huko. And lastly, I think there's also a policy within Kenya Kwanza to do what they are calling wait and see attitude towards the Azimio brigades. That's why he was not really embraced, because, you know, what was his mission there? Was it to support Ruto, or was it just to go and, you know, the crowd was there, take credit, or was it just to prove patriotism, or is it because he wanted to send certain messages to Azimio? So the thing is, Kenya Kwanza are set, and they know what they are doing, they know what they want. So for now, they are not going to embrace Azimio. Their policy is wait and see attitude. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.